And we are live. Let me check out, make sure that everything's working properly. Audio. Oh yeah, we're good. Welcome everyone to the show. It's a new beginning and it's a new past, my friends. I am proud to announce that as of today, I will be recording and the new History Channel. History Channel X goes live today at 4 p.m. The History Channel X will be available on FGTV and on my Patreon. That's the only two places that you can find it. Now, there is a disclaimer. Those with a sensitive heart and those who believe the mainstream education history of the world, you may not want to watch this because it's going to educate you in the true history of the world. There's a reason that I called it History Channel X. All right. I'm going to give you guys a little taste of History Channel X today. Then you choose if you want to continue watching the History Channel X series. Let me explain with the name History Channel X. All right, X, the symbol X. Have you ever wondered why so many places use X? Let me explain. American History X. Remember the movie American History X? The letter X, for those who know the truth about the history, and I'm not just talking the human history, I mean the creation history. You understand that X represents eternity, right? In the idea of telling a story, right? History, the word history is actually a term inside the X network. The X in right, history is his story. That's man's story. Right? His story is man's story. That's why they say prehistoric times, because his story is since the genetic creation of man as we are now. Right? There are pre his story history knowledge. That knowledge in general is represented by X, right? That's why you look around. That's why Elon Musk is labeling Twitter as X. That's why another example was Malcolm X, right? Another example was back in the 90s, the X-Files, the movies, the episodes, the X-Files. People who know true history refer to that knowledge as the X, right? So that's why I called it the X channel, all right? Because the X channel is, it's going to expose you to a different point of view. All right, now, you've heard how Trump and the education system that he's endorsed is the 1776 project, right? And the liberals have the 1490 or something like that, right? The 1490 project. That's because the reason they're putting a year on it is they want to educate from that year's point of view. Yes, right? Exactly, 1692, right? They want to educate history from that point. See, my channel, Channel X, it's not going to have a starting point. It's not going to have a starting year, because I want you guys to understand what the elite understand. See, the elite, including Trump, right? Trump is not outside of this, right? Trump and the elite understand most people will not grasp the concept of X. They won't be able to wrap their minds around it. So they need a starting point, right? Most general public needs a year to start from. That's why in history classes, they always wanted you to learn the year. What year did the World War I start? What date was World War I launched? What date was World War II launched? What, or declared? What was the date World War II ended? On the X channel, I'm going to explain to people why the elites of the time created the calendar. See, why the elites of the time started BC, before Christ, right? There's a reason that they put that as 0. There's a reason that there's 1776 BC. There's a reason that there's 1619 BC. There's a reason that they teach you history. There's a reason that they teach you prehistoric, right? Because they don't want you to put it together. They want you to have a point of view that they can manipulate. See, if you know the true history, the true X, if you know the true X knowledge, the X knowledge, if you have the channel X history point of view, then you understand that the English language is a form of control, that the frequency of the alphabet is a form of control, that the alphabet itself is a form of control. You understand why the English language is actually based on phonics and not graphics, like ancient Egypt used hieroglyphs and hieroglyphics, and why, and you'll learn this on Channel X, you'll learn this, that the English language was created to actually control your mind using frequency. See, let me explain. Think of the word spelling. When someone tells you, oh, how is that spelled? Or when you were in grade school, we're in spelling class. Think differently. That's why they call it spelling, because the human language uses frequency and phonics to cast spells using frequency. That's why they call it spelling. Because you, as you use the phonics of the alphabet, the phonics of each letter creates a word. Each word is a spell. Each word, frequency-wise, affects material, reality. our reality. Once you understand that the English language was written so they could create a frequency spell on history, on genetically manipulated man, you understand that we were created to be programmable. All right. Now, remember, God created man, but in the original language, remember, this is before English existed, right? In the original language of Earth, right? What they now call the first speak. Speak. That's the original language of Earth, of humanoid creation. Right? That led into Arabic. All right. Now, Arabic is also based on frequency, but it's actually based on the frequency of the earth and not the English language, which is based on 440 frequency. See, Channel X, my past education, shall we call it, the education of the past channel X, is going to inform you guys of all of this. I'm going to lay out the whole thing. Now, this is going to lead into Cliff High. If you're watching this, this is going to lead into alien education. This is going to lead into prehistoric education. This is going to lead into what some people will call witchcraft, but it's not witchcraft. All right? It's actually controlling frequencies and manipulating frequencies. Here's an example. Have you ever seen a drum head? A drum head. You're like, brum, 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 brum. Now, take a little bit of sand. Let me see if I can find an example of this. All right, here we go. Here we go. Let me pause this. me enlarge this. All right, let me unmute that. Let me share the screen. Share the screen. Entire screen. Share the audio. Share. Okay, now watch this. Now replace the music with words, and you'll understand what I mean when I say that the English language was created so you could write specific spelling, and you can create matter, manipulate matter. Watch.
The first experiment for the cymatics music video is called a Chladni plate. A Chladni plate's basically a metal plate attached to the top of a speaker. There's sand on top of the plate, and you play different tones through the speaker. The plate vibrates, which forms different shapes depending on the frequency of the sound.
Well, we blew up a lot of speakers with the Chladni plate. So there was a lot of experimenting around the Chladni plate, primarily looking at how much volume we can put through there, how much sand to actually put on the plate, and the different shapes of plates and what different patterns would be created because of those shapes. But what we were really testing was what frequencies create the most interesting repeatable patterns, because that was a key point. So we ended up playing pretty much every audio frequency through the plate to see what different shapes it would form.
And for most frequencies, it doesn't really do much. But when it hits a frequency that resonates with the plate, it forms a really nice pure shape. So we found out what those tones were, and those were the tones we used to draw the plate in the video.
All right, now, once you understand that frequency, all right, hang on a second, frequency creates shapes, that every frequency creates shapes, all right, now, the little secret, the little bitty secret is water. Why is it every time they go to Mars, they're in search of life? Why are they always, oh, we found water. We found water. Okay, but did you find any fish? That's because the average person doesn't understand the importance of water. We, man, are 98% water. What holds us together? Why do we not just splash away? Why are we not, or why do we have shape? Let me share the screen.
So the second experiment in the cymatics music video is called the speaker dish. Now, the speaker dish experiment, we taped a petri dish to the speaker, filled it with vodka, and we vibrate the dish with various tones. So the speaker is moving up and down, and that's forming a wave from the edge of the dish towards the center. The camera is taking a picture at exactly the same time as the next wave is about to arrive. And so whatever the frame rate is of your camera, if you play audio through that's the same frequency or a multiple of that frequency, you're going to be able to make the liquid look like it's frozen.
So the testing for the speaker dish was very similar to the Chladni plate, in so much as we were testing the frequencies that we put into the speaker dish and matching that with different camera settings. But there was a third element. Unlike the Chladni plate, which uses sand, we could pretty much put any liquid into the speaker dish. And what we found was that frozen vodka, for whatever reason, was a little thicker and moves a little bit slower than water. So then we tried a number of different frequencies with the speaker and a number of different camera settings to see what created the best frozen wave.
We decided that there were two waveforms that looked good, one at 50 hertz, which was double the frame rate of the camera, and one at 100, which was 4 times the frame rate of the camera. And then when it came time to write the music, I had 2 notes that I could use for that particular experiment.
You're starting to get the picture. The reason they used vodka and what they're missing, what they're not understanding, is they're limiting the reason that water didn't work as well for them is they're limiting the frequency that they're applying to the water to only frequency they can hear. See, if they move the frequency dial, it moves out of the level that they can't hear. So they can't recognize the change that they can apply to the water at the different frequencies. They're getting close to the answer, but they're still far away. They don't understand that if you take frequency, mix it with pressure, and add harmonics, you get matter. Tesla 369. My friends, if you want more information on this, join my Patreon channel, link below, or join the club and get access to FGTV, which will be the only other place that you can find my history, my Channel X. I'm going to teach you what nobody wants you to know. Click the link below and join the Patreon or the club and get FGTV. Love you guys. I'll see you on Patreon for an episode of the Channel X in about 15 minutes. Love you guys. Join the club or join the Patreon channel. Love you guys. See you in a minute.